Hello students, today we are going to cover the topic CloudWatch and auto scaling. So let's try to understand why do we need to have CloudWatch. CloudWatch is nothing but a monitoring and observability tool, and to understand this let's consider this scenario. Consider the scenario you have a messenger app hosted on the cloud. Now this app has got a lot of fame, but lately the number of people using this application gone down. Now you don't have any idea what is the issue. There could be two issues. Since your architecture is complex multi-tier architecture and you don't have any monitoring tool through which you can identify where is the problem in your performance, and this is a multi-tier, that's why you cannot know at which layer there is a problem, and the architecture is very complex to difficult to understand where the problem is actually present. So to avoid this you need a monitoring tool which will be monitoring the resources at every level of your architecture. So that can be done through the CloudWatch. CloudWatch will help you to understand the performance of your application, and if at any layer of your architecture there is a performance issue, it can be notified through the CloudWatch. Scenario, let's consider the next scenario. In this scenario, suppose you are having 5 virtual servers. Here you can see there are 5 virtual servers. Now at the daytime the utilization of the server are very high. That means all the servers are utilized at the daytime, and because all the servers are utilizing, you are paying that much of money with the servers you are using. But suppose at night time the usage is not that much high. Out of 5 servers, suppose 3 servers are only used by the customers, by the users, and 2 servers remains idle. But because the 5 servers are running, you have to pay for 5 servers only. That means you are paying extra when the server is not being utilized. So that is the next issue which you can solve through the CloudWatch. If any of your server is idle, that can be notified through the CloudWatch, and you can take the appropriate action based on your idea. Let's consider the third scenario. Suppose you have a website hosted. Now many of the customers are using that site, and if suppose your application is down because of some reason, and if but obviously if application is down, the customer will find it that your application is down, they will definitely going to visit some other websites. So what is the need of the hour? That means you have to understand where is the actual problem, and you need to fix it at very less amount of time. So that you can only do with the good troubleshooting tool, and that is again possible with the help of CloudWatch. CloudWatch will help you to troubleshoot your application, and if you know where is the problem, you can easily fix it up. So this is how the CloudWatch can be useful. Let's understand what is cloud. Again, we have seen the 3 scenarios in which CloudWatch could be useful. You get your insights about your AWS resources, whatever resources you are utilizing, you get you can get the insights of that resources. Whenever you know that the utilization is the servers are underutilized or more utilized, how can you know? Through the CloudWatch. EC2 instances, there are nothing but the servers. Now, whether your application's performance availability is affected or not, that again can be identified through the CloudWatch. How much of your infrastructure is actually being used? How do you capture this information? Again, this information can be used, collected through the CloudWatch. There are some basic terms about CloudWatch which you need to understand to know more about the CloudWatch. Now, what are, like we have already seen, what is CloudWatch? CloudWatch is nothing but the monitoring and observability service. Now there are two types of monitoring service provided by the AWS CloudWatch. First is called as basic monitoring and the second one is called as detailed monitoring. Basic monitoring is a free service. That means it has no upfront cost. You will be only charged for whatever you have used. Whereas in detailed monitoring you have to pay something and then only you are actually eligible for using this service. Now polls in basic monitoring, it will check less frequently than detailed monitoring. That means it is going to check for the services after every 5 minutes, and there are very few metrics are available. What is metrics that we are going to see next, but there are very few metrics through which you can check for the services available in your cloud platform. Whereas in detailed monitoring, it actually checks after every minute, and there are a very wide range of metrics available to understand utilization of your AWS resources. What AWS monitors? AWS monitor sorry, what CloudWatch monitors? CloudWatch actually monitors AWS resources which is available on the cloud or available on your premises. Application, it actually also monitors application that run on AWS. What it do is it collects and tracks the information from all the resources and application. There are some standard metrics available from AWS CloudWatch. You can actually use them and get the information, or you can actually create custom matrices and that you can utilize to get the visualization of all the usage of your resources. There are alarms available. Suppose a particular condition is met, then that alarms can be as per notification sent to a Amazon SNS topic. That is, this is nothing but the notification service through which you can be actually notified for the particular events. Perform AWS Amazon EC2 auto scaling and Amazon EC2 actions. That means suppose there are certain actions need to be taken, like you need to actually start some EC2 instance, that can be possible through the alarms. What are the events? In the events, define rules to match changes in AWS environment and route this event to one or more target function or stream for processing. In the events, actually you are actually defining the rules of the changes in AWS environment. Whatever the change happens in your AWS environment, that can be the event occur. Due to this, you need to perform certain action, certain target functions that can be only possible after some kind of events happens. How AWS CloudWatch works? Here you can see how the actually CloudWatch works. Here first it will collect the information through metrics and logs from all of your AWS resources, applications, services that actually run on AWS or on-premises service. Now, whatever the information collected, that can be visualized through visual applications and infrastructure with CloudWatch dashboard, that we actually correlate logs, metrics side by side to troubleshoot and set alarms with CloudWatch alarms. Here nothing but the visualization is done at the monitoring level. in which you are actually correlating logs and matrices. Next is ACT. Automate response to operational changes with CloudWatch events and auto scaling. Whatever you are actually monitoring, based on that you have to automate the response. That could be possible when some kind of event or some kind of action is met. Analyze up to 1 second metrics, extended data retention 15 months, and real-time analysis with the CloudWatch metering math. Here we are actually analyzing the matrices available, and this data can be retained till 15 months. All the monitoring is real time. That means the application collection of the data is real time. So you are actually getting the information what is actually happening in your AWS services. In this gives you unified operational health. Here you can get resource optimization. Through this you get the system-wide visibility and application monitoring. These four things you can achieve with the help of Amazon CloudWatch. First is application monitoring, second is system-wide visibility, resource optimization, and unified operational health. For this four purpose, you actually use, or you can say these are the four benefits of using Amazon CloudWatch. Now, what could be the example of Amazon CloudWatch? Here you can see if CPU utilization is greater than 60% for 5 minutes. Then if this condition occurs, there are certain action you can plan, and that action can be taken. Now the next condition could be if number of simultaneous connection is greater than 10 for 1 minute. This is for Amazon RDS. Number of action you can plan, and that alarms can be set and you can be notified for the particular event. Elastic load balancing, what could be the example? If number of healthy host is less than 5 for 10 minutes, then the notification can be sent to whatever destination you are, or you are making any automated process in which healthy instances can be launched. What actions can be taken through the CloudWatch? Alarm. The action can be taken as stop, terminate, reboot, or recover an instance. This is for EC2 instance. That means you can stop an instance, you can terminate an instance, or you can reboot an instance, or recover an instance. Or scale an auto scaling group in or out. Based on the particular condition, you can scale up or scale down using auto scaling. Send message to Amazon SMS topic. That means you are actually sending the message through which it can be notified for the particular event. So let's start with the other topic, which is scaling. Why scaling is important? So here you have to consider that these are the capacity which we have allocated for a particular website. Okay, now what we want is we want to see how much utilization is there. Suppose this much we have allocated, and out of this only use capacity for Sunday is this much. For Monday it is increased, on Tuesday it somehow increased, and Wednesday it is fully used, and then it decreases. So this you can see there is a huge difference between what you have allocated and what have been used. This is how, if you actually give the maximum capacity and you see at least one day it is maximally used. That means there is no day where customer will not get the response from the server, because you have enough servers. Even if the load increases, the server will be able to respond. But consider the other scenario in which you have only allocated this much of resources. Now what happens if the demand increases more than the capacity? What happens, this much of capacity, the server may crash because the capacity it has is only this much, and there is more traffic than the servers can handle. Now definitely it will giving you the loss of customer. So why, what is happening here, you are actually wasting your resources all the day except Wednesday, and here you are losing your customer because you are not able to satisfy their request. So in both the cases there is a loss of, in this loss of money, and this in this loss of customer. How can you deal with this? So to deal with this, what you can do is you can actually allocate more than what is there, what is the usage, somehow more than the what is their use. Suppose this is the Sunday usage. Now what you will provision, you will provision more than, but not much more than what is needed. So you are actually allocating more than the request, but you are not over allocating the resources. So here you can actually save the money, and also you will not able to lose your customer, because the customer will get service from your servers. So this could be the solution if we use scaling, in which we actually allocate more resources than needed, but not all day. We actually predict, or we actually analyze how much is the request and allocate more than what is requested. What is scaling? So scaling provides a simple, powerful user interface that lets you build scaling plan for resources, including using this. Like, resources could be, if we are seeing that we are allocating more than what is needed, what kind of resources we are actually allocating. The resources could be of EC2 instances, spot fleets. We have seen the spot instances, right? So that could be the type of resources which we are allocating. Now other could be Amazon DynamoDB tables, right? The databases tables which we will be using, we are allocating. Then DynamoDB tables and indexes, Amazon Aurora replicas. So these are the resources which we can actually scale while we are using scaling. The solution which we will be using for scaling is Amazon. If we are asking, if we are using Amazon EC2 scaling, what we can do is, through this we can maintain the application availability based on the servers count. We can maintain this. Now here you can automatically add or remove EC2 instances according to the condition that you define. You may define that particular 5 instances should be there, or 6, based on the traffic which is coming to your EC2 instances. You can decide. Now here you can actually check what are the unhealthy application or instances present there, and what you will do is you will create the replicas of it. You can actually terminate the instances and you create new healthy instances, and this is how you can maintain your application's availability. Now it provides EC2 auto scaling option, provides you several scaling options like manual scaling, scheduled scaling, dynamic scaling, or on demand or predictive scaling, that we are going to see in detail. Now consider the scenario in which this is the typical weekly traffic at Amazon.com. Now this is this blue line which you have seen. This is the provision capacity, and the uses are this. So the usage here is, so the how much traffic is allocated, you can see it is always provision. You have provisioned the same amount of capacity for every day. Okay, and this is somehow the traffic is somehow same. Now but consider this a special scenario for the November. Suppose in November, can we know that Amazon has a big billion day, big sales. So at that period of time, you can see this traffic will be increased very much. Suppose this is the normal traffic which we get now. Here, because of the sales, the traffic may increase very high. So what you can do is, if you have allocated the same amount of capacity for every week, then what happens, this much of resources will be only wasted. Why so? Because the traffic increase will be only there when there is a sale. So you can say 100% is the location daily, only 25%. If there is no sale, only 25% of the allocated capacity will be used, and 76% is idle, which we don't want, because this much of percent of capacity we are paying without usage. So what you can do is, to avoid this, we use the auto scaling, EC2 auto scaling. So we'll see now auto scaling group. In auto scaling group, there are three terms which we need to understand. The first term is minimum size, second is desired capacity, and the third one is maximum size. So what is minimum size? If you are defining the minimum size in auto scaling group, that means you are defining at least this many instances should be present in your auto scaling group. Like maximum only minimum only one instance can be there in auto scaling group, or maximum size, that means 5 instances. From one there could be 5 instances more. 1 2 3 4 5 instances can be added, or you can have maximally 5 instances in auto scaling group, minimum one or maximum one. Or the desired capacity you define, like desired capacity, that means you require only this much of capacity in auto scaling group. Like you say only two instances should be there in your auto scaling group. You can increase with the maximum size, but you are actually defining the desired capacity. Whenever there is auto scaling which will be scheduled, the two instances will be started. If you are using auto scaling group, now if the traffic increases, when the traffic will, but when the instance will be added or removed, when there is a more traffic in your for in your server. So what you can do with the help of auto scaling group, you actually launch a new instance, or you can terminate the instance. There is no start stop option, right? There is no already available instance and you start it, or when there is no traffic you stop it. That is not the possibility in auto scaling group. What you do is, you actually start a new instance, you can actually launch a new instance, we can say, and you can terminate whatever the instance is there if there is less traffic. So scaling out versus scaling in, to understand this we have to understand there is a use of load balancer, elastic load balancer in auto scaling group. We know whenever there is a traffic, we have to employ multiple EC2 instances, and then we actually distribute the traffic between the instances, or you can say the servers. For that we employ the elastic load balancer. Here the elastic load balancer will be receiving all the traffic coming from the internet, and then will distribute the traffic among the EC2 instances. Suppose there are two EC2 instances available, so elastic load balancer will evenly distribute this traffic. But what if the percentage of, here also this EC2 instances is also increased in percentage of traffic, like this is 90% utilized EC2 instance, and this is also 90% utilized EC2 instance. So here what you need to have is, if they again the load increases, you must increase the EC2 instance. And how that is possible? With the help of scaling out. How scaling out works is, you actually add or launch new instance in scaling out. That means when there is more traffic coming to your instances, here the auto scaling group will launch a new instance that is called as scale out, and again load balance and register this new instance with elastic load balancer. Now elastic load balancer will come to know that there is 3 servers which can respond to the query of user, and then it will actually distribute the traffic among these 3. What if there is less number of traffic, there is less traffic coming to your EC2 instances? Suppose there is only 10% of all 3 instances are utilized. Now what you want is, you don't want this much of low percentage uses. So what you can do is, you can scale in. That means you can actually terminate the instance, and this will be notified to the elastic load balancer. Now elastic load balancer will come to know that only 2 instances are available which can respond, so it will distribute the traffic among these 2. So basically, what is scale out? In scale out, you actually launch a new instances, and scale in, you can terminate the instance. And what is basic configuration? When you actually launch your auto scaling group, you start with some specific number of EC2 instances. So that is the basic configuration, or you can say base configuration. Now how this auto scaling for EC2 instance works? Now to launch a EC2 instance, you have to, in auto scaling group, you have to understand launch configuration. Through the launch configuration, you can actually launch a new instance, and you can actually specify your policies for auto scaling group. Now to launch configuration, what are the things you need to you need to you need to configure? First is AMI, Amazon Machine Image. You actually need to specify the image for the EC2 instance for which you are going to the EC2 instance. Okay. Now second is instance type. Which kind of instance type it will be? We have seen the various instance type, large, small, and various A1, C1. So that are the instance type. Which kind of instance type, or you can say the instance, whether the instance will be with how much RAM or storage it will use, that you are having, you need to specify whether external storage will be used for the EC2 instance. That you have to all specify when you are actually specifying EC2 instance in your auto scaling group. Next is IAM role, that means identity and access management role. So for that you have to, if you have to specify. Next you have to give the secure one or more security group for your EC2 instance. And then elastic block storage volumes, if you want to attach an elastic block storage volume to your EC2 instance, that you need to specify. This all information we already know, we have already seen what is the importance of this all. When you are actually launching a configuration, you are actually specifying whenever there is a scale out option will be used, this many option will be used. That means which image, which instance type, which role, which security group, and whether you have to attach the EBS volume or not. Now through this, you actually auto scaling group will work. In auto scaling group, where it will reside, suppose this is your VPC. Under VPC you will be having a private subnet. In private subnet, you are actually defining your auto scaling group. Auto scaling group, you actually will be using one thing which you will be using is elastic load balancer. And why do we need to use this? Because whenever there is, when we will be launching the more instances, when there is more traffic, and when there is more traffic, their elastic load balancer should distribute the traffic among the available EC2 instances. So that's why elastic load balancer will be there, which I am not specifying here. This will be understood that auto scaling group, elastic load balancer will be only distributing the traffic between the available instances. So VPC and subnets we already understood. Under VPC, under the private subnet, you actually specifying the auto scaling group, and then there will be a load balancer which will be actually distributing the traffic among the available instances. Now when this auto scaling group will work, like what are the, which configuration, with which option you can work here? So through auto scaling group, you can maintain the current number. Like you started with the two EC2 machines, and you actually want to maintain this number throughout. Like if there is any unhealthy instance, what should happen? The number of available EC2 instances may decrease, that because one is unhealthy, so only one healthy instance can give the response to the customer. So that should not happen. So here only the health checks will be there. Suppose any unhealthy instances is found, the auto scaling group, what it will do is it will terminate the one which is unhealthy and will launch a new healthy instance. Next option could be manual scaling. In manual scaling, what you do is you specify all these three options which we have seen earlier: minimum, maximum, and desired capacity. Minimum capacity, the like if you can start with the minimum desired capacity, and if there is less traffic, the what can be the minimum number which up to which the EC2 instances can go, like from 2 to 5. Minimum can be 2 and maximum could be 5, and desired is something 3, suppose. So that could be the manual scaling. That means that will again depend on how much traffic is coming to your elastic load balancer. If there is more traffic, the number of EC2 instances will increase. Now it will not cross, the EC2 instances number will not cross the maximum capacity. If you have already given as 5, there cannot be, in auto scaling group there cannot be 6 instances, and there can be no less number of instances than minimum capacity. That means if you have specified 2 minimum number of EC2 instances, at least 2 instances will be always there in auto scaling group. So this is how it works for manual scaling. Now what is schedule scaling? Suppose for Friday and Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there is more traffic for your website than other day of the week. So what you can do is you can have schedule scaling. That means for this 3 day you allocate more EC2 instances. That means based on date and time you are actually launching the new instances, and based on date and time again you are scaling in your current architecture. So that means for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it will give, if it allocate more EC2 instances, and then again from Monday it will terminate the allocated instances and will work accordingly. Now the next option which is possible is dynamic scaling. What is dynamic scaling? In the dynamic scaling, the scaling policies which you will be defining is again based on the number of how the usage is there. Now in this policy you actually make to scale out the number of servers EC2 instances present. This dynamic scaling we are going to see in detail in the next slide. Let's understand what is predictive scaling. In predictive scaling, what you do is you employ the machine learning algorithms. Using that, like suppose for 1 hour, for 1 day you employed your current architecture load balancer, you are actually capturing the load, you are actually learning from the patterns. For 1 day you employed it and you understood how the traffic is coming to your server, at what time, what is the number of requests coming to your server. Now what you will do, you will use the machine learning algorithms and you can predict for the next 24 hours. Now after next 24 hours you actually capture 2 days data, and that you will be employing and again training your model, and again you are predicting the next 48 hours of traffic. So this is how it predicts based on the previous history using machine learning. Now how to implement the dynamic scaling? In dynamic scaling, suppose this is your elastic load balancer. When you started with your server, you actually started with the 2 EC2 instances, and in this auto scaling group you can see there is two, and you have already employed auto scaling group. So in this which you have CPU utilization. So what you will do is you will actually using the CloudWatch. In dynamic scaling, what you use is you use a CloudWatch. How CloudWatch can be used to work more effectively in dynamic scaling? Because through CloudWatch you actually check for the usage. You have various metrics on the basis of which you will visualize the traffic which is coming to your EC2 instances. Now suppose if the average CPU utilization is 60% for 5 minutes, so these are the two EC2 instances, and average utilization is more than 60% for 5 minutes, then what you want is you want to execute Amazon EC2 scaling policy. That means you may need to scale out the current configuration. How can you do it? It will call EC2 in auto scaling group, that means it will add one more EC2 instance here. When CloudWatch will see what CloudWatch will do, it will check for the EC2 instances after every 5 minutes. The usage of the EC2 instances will check after every 5 minutes, and if there is more than 60% of traffic, then what it will do is it will execute the Amazon EC2 auto scaling policy, in which it will add one more EC2 instance here, and it will also register, auto scaling group will register this new instance, whatever the instance will created here, it will register the instance with elastic load balancer, and then elastic load balancer will come to know there is 3 servers available or 3 EC2 instances available, and that 3 EC2 instance, the traffic will be distributed among these 3 through the CloudWatch. Again, if you say there is less traffic, suppose if the average CPU utilization is less than 10% for 5 minutes, so again CloudWatch will check for this, and if it is so, what it will do is will scale in. That means it will terminate one EC2 instance and will notify the elastic load balancer, and again the elastic load balancer will come to know there is only again 2 EC2 instances, and it will distribute the traffic among the available EC2 instance. So this is how the dynamic scaling work, in which you employ the Amazon CloudWatch.